Let's create a simple yet sleek video CV. Today's workshop is the first lesson of a 7-part series. Follow the bite-sized lessons, and by the end of the series, you'll have a full video CV template that you can customize for your personal use. In the description box, you'll find a link that lets you access the color and font guide. Don't be shy. Go on, click on the link. It's absolutely free. That way, you can get started today because no excuses are standing in your way. You're welcome to my design workshop, where I help you turn ideas into visual stories. By the end of this series, you'll have a complete graphic video CV template. You'll learn that simplicity can also get the job done. And you'll feel confident enough to follow the tutorial and create yours in a few simple steps. Because in this workshop, we practice what we learn. Let's create the font and color guide. Welcome to the Canva homepage. To start creating our video CV, I'm going to come over here to the left-hand panel and click on the plus button. You'll see it says create. I'll click on that and it should take us to the create a design section. Now I'm going to go for this landscape video format because what we're going for is the 1920 by 1080 pixels. So I'll just click on this and it should take us straight into the editor. Okay, now first and foremost, let's create our font and color guide. If you're on a free account, this will be really helpful because what it will do is it will populate your colors in the color document section. Let's take a look at that. When I click on the color, it says document colors. So once we create our font and color guide, our colors will be populated here. Whereas if you're in a paid account, you don't really have to worry too much about that because you can add the colors to a brand kit. That way you can use that. Okay, let's get started with that. First, I will change this background color. To do that, make sure your page is selected and then click on the color circle over here. I'm going to click on this plus button to add my color. The hex code for this color is BBB9B1. So this is the color we're going for. It's a light gray color. The next thing I'm going to do is I'll click on the page and then press the letter T to bring on some fonts. Next, I'm going to type in here font and then I will position it in the center of the page. Let's increase the size to 67. Yeah. Now for my heading, I'm going to press T again and then type in your heading. Move it to the left like that. And for my heading, I'll be using League Spartan. Now I'm going to change that font to League Spartan. So I'll click on the font and then type in here League Spartan to search for it. It's this one over here. Great. Now I want to position it right there. I'll reduce the font size to 42. Type that in over here. Yes. Now I can reposition it right underneath heading. Then I'll duplicate heading and type in there subheading. My subheading is going to be, let me just duplicate this, bring it over here and type in the subheading, which is Tan mon chéri. Yes. All right. I'm going to change that to Tan Mon Chéri. First, I will search it over here. I'll just add more to make it easier. Yeah, that's it right there. Okay. Now let's do the last part of this. That's the body text. I'll be using none other than Quicksand. If you watched my ebook video, tutorial video, you'll see that I use the same fonts for that as well. Okay, I'll just type in here Quicksand and change the font to Quicksand. This is it. And then I'll just reorganize everything on the page. Okay, this is already centered. I'll move this up. Okay, great. Now it's time to add the colors. First, I think, yeah, this one is centered properly. Maybe I should move this a little bit. Yeah, over here. Great. Now let's add our colors. I'll duplicate fonts and then bring it down over here in the center and type in colors. Now I'll press C on my keyboard, which will bring up a circle. Then I will start including my colors. For the first circle, I'm going for a gray blue color. I'll click on the circle and the plus button, and then I'll type in here the hex code, which is 515561. That's the color. I'll reduce the size of the circle slightly. Yes. Next, I'm going to add two more colors. So let's add the second one. I'll click on the circle and duplicate it. To duplicate on a Mac, just press Command D. To duplicate on Windows, that will be Control D. Now I'm going to change the color of this circle. To do that, we'll click on the color circle over here and the plus button right under document colors. It says there, add a new color. So when I click on it, it will allow me to add the hex code of the color in this section over here. Now the hex code is 2. The hex code is D9, D9, D9. I'm going for this light gray color. Now we're going to add the last color. So I'll duplicate this, put it over here and type in the hex code by coming here to press the plus button. Then I will just go ahead and type in 242740. I'm going for this dark navy blue color. Okay. So our font and color guide is complete. Now let's move on to our first page. To do that, I'm going to press this add page button over here. It's the plus button that lets you add a new page. So I'll click on that and then we can get to work on the first one. I'm going to change the background color to this. Once I click on it, since the color section is already open, it will allow me to change the color of the background. I'm going to press this button to add the color that I want. I'll be changing the background to a dark gray. I didn't add that to the font and color guide, but we'll just change that over here. I'll press plus, and then I will type in here 545454. This is the dark gray we're going for. Next, I'm going to add a rounded square shape. You know, I love that rounded square. It's everywhere. Anytime I'm designing, that rounded square is usually present. I'm going to type it in here, rounded square. Let's press enter. and then it comes up right over here. I'm going to click on it and extend it to cover the page almost. Just like extend it to cover the page, leaving the corners. Yeah, just extend it to cover the page and it will leave these. You'll be able to see the gray in the corners, just like that. Let me zoom in slightly. Okay. Now, next, we're going to change this color to that light gray that we added to our color guide, the document colors over here. I'll click on that, and then we have our light gray. Next, let's add a photo, because what's a video CV without that professional image of yourself? Okay, to do that, well, you can add your own photo if you're using this as your video CV. I'm going to be using a placeholder. For starters, we would need a frame. I'm going to type in here rounded frame to search for the kind of frame I would like. This is a really rounded one this time around. Let's see if I find that. I just have to scroll through. This is the one I'm going for. Yeah. Rounded photo frame. I'll reduce the size slightly and then center it. Next, we're going to look for a LinkedIn style professional photo. I'm going to type in here elegant woman in business attire. I've already searched it, so it's in my recently used, but I just want to show how I did that. I'll type it in elegant woman in business attire, and then press enter or search, which is this button over here. Once I do that, I can go and click see all under photos. I'll just click see all and it will show me different images that I can use for this. I'm just going to keep scrolling until I find the one I used. It's coming up. There it is. I'll click on that and then I'll insert it into the frame. When you hover over the frame, it automatically sets itself inside. So I just release. Just like that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press T to introduce the person, not me, but I'm just going to type in here, hi, I'm Sandra, placeholder once again, and I will position that right underneath the photo. After that, I'll come over here and change the font size to 50 and then press enter. Then the font to our heading font, which is League Spartan. Then I will click on the text, go to effects and select outline. Then change the color to white. So that's what it would look like. A very light, subtle outline. We want it to be as professional as possible. Now, the next thing I'll do is I'm going to animate our gray rounded square that I used over here. I'll click on animate and select breathe. It's breathe out. Now, next, I'm going to animate the text as well. I'll click on that, click on animate, which you'll find on the floating toolbar. Once I click on it, I'll select clarify. So you see what that looks like. And just like that, our cover page is done. Easy peasy. Now I'm going to reduce the size over here. I'm just going to zoom out so we can see the full page and then I will center it. I'm just going to, first I will lock this in place. Then I will select the frame and the name. Ooh, that rhymes. Frame and the name. Okay. I'm going to select the frame and the name and then I will center it. I will also reduce the size slightly and center it again. Let me just give this a little bit of space like that. Just like that, Our cover page is complete. I'll zoom in again so we can preview this. Let's press play and have a look. Coming. Hi, I'm Sandra. Let's create the profile page. It's time to create the second page. To do that, I'm going to press this plus button over here and add a new page. Next, I'll change the background color because we'll be placing some elements over this page. So there's no need to worry about the background color. Now I'll click on that and then select white. Next, let's head back to the element section, which is right over here under templates on the left-hand side panel. I'll click on it and search over here, square. It will appear under shapes over here. Then I'll select that. Now let's move it to the left. I'll elongate this to fill the page. And then I will also stretch it over here as well towards the right. What I want to do is I want to fill this page with 3 rectangles. They're squares, but then I've elongated them and now they're rectangles. So I'll duplicate this 2 times just to fit the space. Hopefully that should work. Duplicate. I'll select it and then I'll duplicate. Select again and duplicate. Okay, now I can see that this one is smaller than the rest. So what I'm going to do is I will delete this, delete that, and then make this smaller, just so all my rectangles are the same size. I'll just reduce the size of this one and duplicate again, just like this. And then I'll duplicate them again. All right, let's see if this time it works. Yeah, works. Okay, next, let's change the color. I'll click on the first rectangle and change that to the gray blue, which is 515561 already in our document color section. If you've created the guide of, if you've downloaded your guide, your starter guide, so you can get to creating. Okay, I'll click on this and then change that. The next one I'll change to our light gray, which is D9, D9, D9. That's the hex code. And then for the third one, it will be the dark gray blue. I'll click on that. So yeah, we have our 3 colors. Let's just make sure that everything looks good. Yeah. I'll zoom in so you can see. That's it. Okay. Let's zoom out a little bit. I'll just fix this part. And yeah, our first part is complete. Zoom in again. There you go. Next, I'm just going to lock these in place so that I can bring on some text. That way I don't disrupt anything. Now I'm going to press T to bring on some text. And then I will type in here, an accomplished expert. Then I'll drag that and position it on the first rectangle like that. And then I'll change the font to Tan Mon Chéri. Exactly this font is what I'm going for. Now I'm going to change the font size as well. I'll change the size to 36. Just type it in here. 36. And then the font color to white. Just like that. Okay. Now I need to reposition it. Next, I'll duplicate this and then I will type in here. Let's type with 15 years of experience. I'll just make sure this is positioned in the center. Great. Then I will duplicate that and move it over here. I'll type in project management. Let's see. We'll change the font color so that it is so we can see. Let me just select that. Go over to the letter A, which has the font, and change the font color to white. And then I'll press enter to make sure that each word is on a line. And then I'll center that. I'll check to be sure that it is the line spacing is 1.4, which is just where I want it to be. We're almost there. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock these and then create and then go over here to select the page and click on animate. Now, you can go through to see which animation you like because we're going to animate the page all at once to make it nice and easy for us. Simple is pretty professional and nice. I like sleek as well. It brings in some style. Fun. I like how the text falls slowly. Corporate has its own simplicity to it. Chill is more what I'm going for. So I'll just click on chill and make sure it's on enter. Now, what I want to do is preview this so you can have a look because we are done. Just like that. Easy peasy. If you found this one easy as well, then let me know in the comment section. Type in there, this was easy. Now let's preview it from the beginning. See how it's coming along. I'll move it slightly here. So let's see, it's going to take us, yeah. Yep, that is our second page. It's complete. I'll zoom in so you can have a look. I'll zoom in and then show this page again. Just zoom in. Yeah, that's our second page. How easy was that? Let's create the Why I'm the Right Candidate page. Time to create the third page. To do that, I'll press this plus button over here, and then I will keep the background color as white. Then I'm going to select the image that we used for our cover. Remember Sandra? Yes. I'm going to select that image. I'll find that in my recently used section, which is right over here. I'll click on, I don't have to click on see all. That's Sandra right there. Once the image is on the page, I'm going to extend it all the way to fill out the page like this. I'll double click so that I can bring the picture down, make sure that it shows. You'll see crop once you double click, and then you can now drag it down. Then I'll make sure that it fills up the page like that. Next, I'll change the transparency of this image to 11. Now I can bring on some text. I'll press T, click on the page, press T. Should be somewhere, yeah, it's over here at the bottom. Press T and then bring it over here. I did that twice. Extend this to fill up the page. And then I'll type in here why I'm the right candidate for the role. I'll just bring this down from here. Then I'll center it on the page. Then I'll change the font size to 45. So it's selected. I'll just come over here and type in 45 just to make it bigger. I didn't change all of it, so I'll select it again. Type over here 45 to change the font size. Then I'll center it because it shifted let's center that like this. Okay, now I just want to adjust the image a bit. There you go. The next thing we're going to do is animate. Click on the image and select animate. At the moment, it's fade. I'm going to go in for ink and it's on enter. All right, now that that's done, we're almost there. Now let's animate the text as well. I'll select it, click on animate. Oh, it's already selected. And I will go for merge. Just like that, our third page is complete. Why I'm the right candidate for the role. Let's create the work experience page. Okay, now let's create the fourth page. To start, I'll press this plus button to add a new page. Now I'll select the page and change the background color. To do that, I'll go over here to the color circle, click on that, and select the gray blue in the document colors section. Once I click on it, the color will change. Now, I'm going to go into the element section to find an image that represents the workplace. So I'll click on element and then that's my image right there. But I want to show you how I came by that image. So if I press these three dots, you'll see it says people working in an office. To look for this specific image, if that's what you'd like to use as well, you would have to type in people working in an office. And then not only that image will pop up, but similar images as well. So you can decide which one you would like. So I'll press search, I'll click on search, and then I'll see videos, graphics, and then over here, photos. Once I click on see all, I'll see different images that I can use. I'm going for this one, which is people working in an office. I can just click on it and it will appear on my page. I want to extend it to cover the entire page. If I make this a background image, I won't be able to animate it. But once I place it over the page, it's acting as an element. And so I can easily animate it. But if I add it to the background, then the particular animation I'm looking for will not pop up. Okay. We will animate this. We will animate this in a bit, but first I'm going to change the transparency of the image. To do that, click on the image, come over here to transparency, click on that, and slide this to the left. You'll see that it's changing. I'm going to leave this at 5. You can also type it into the box over there, but I'll just slide it till I get to 5. Okay, that's 4, 5. Okay. Now let's add some text. I'll be adding a heading now. So I'll press the letter T and type in here work experience, all caps. Once I'm done, I will position this in the center. Now let's change the font because we want it to be clear and bold. I'll be using the heading fonts that I selected in the beginning. If you've already accessed your template, you'll find that all your fonts will be populated in the document fonts section. So we'll be using League Spartan And then I would change the size to 58 over here in the font size section. 58, and then press enter. Next, we will change the color of the text. I'll click on it, go to the text color, this A sitting on some beautiful colors. And then I'll change this to the dark gray blue, also populated in the document color section if you've already accessed your starter template, which has the font and the colors on there. I'll click on it, and then now I'll go to effects to select the outline effect. Not quite the color I'm going for in terms of an outline. So by clicking on this circle over here, I can select the color that I actually want, which is white. There you go. Our text is legible. Now, oh, I already changed the size. Okay, next, time to add some information on here. And since this has to do with the work experience, I'll add the date, the role, and where the job was at. This is just a placeholder. So let's get started with that. We'll press the letter T, type in here random date, move this to the top over here, and then I'll change the font to Quick Sand. Make that bold, and then change the size to 27. Okay, then I'll bring it over here. So now I will just add the second part of the date. So from 24th of April 2022 to 26th of April 26. Then I'll extend that so it's all on one row. Position it somewhere here. Okay, so that's the first bit. Now I'm going to bring on a square. To do this, I will go into the element section, click on element. We're already in the element section. I will I'm looking for this square over here, and if you're looking for that, you can just type it in here, square, and it should appear under the shapes. I'll click on this square. Remember that you can also type into the square, but I will be placing text on top of it. And then extend the square like this. Just open it up so that we can place the information on top. I'll do this, move it in, and move the date as well. Leave some space between the date and the square. I'm going to change the color of the square to white. I'll go over here and select white, and then I'll change the color of this text, bring it down a little, and change the color to white as well. I'll press T and start adding my information. I'm going to type in here project manager. Ooh, it's completely invisible, but I will change the color to dark gray blue. That's the color I'm going for. I'll change the font size to 25. Okay, that's it right there. This is the font we're using, Tan Mon Chéri, so it's the right font. And then I will duplicate that and type in here at. I'll change the at to quicksand and then make that bold. Increase the size a little bit. I'll change the size to 27. I'll change the size to 40 because we changed the font, it reduced in size. And then I'll center it. Okay, that's fine. Now duplicate project manager and type in here the company name, also placeholder. Morgan and Friends Agency. Okay. Just move that a little bit. You can increase the size of the square just to make sure there's some space around the content. And you can adjust things as needed in terms of the size, just so that it fits into the square nicely. The size of the square can be adjusted, the size of the text can be adjusted. And so I will now duplicate this and over here type in city. Let's close this up. Now I'm going to duplicate this city and type in country. Okay, so this is the information we want to share on here. Just make sure that it is nicely positioned. Oh, all right. Now that that's done, I'm going to duplicate the square. But before that, I want to add an arrow, which would link one square to the other in that order. I'll go into the element section and type in here arrow, dashed. I'm looking for a dashed arrow, but you can type dashed arrow. I just did it this way. I'd like a free arrow, free account. I think this is a nice one, but I'm looking for something else. Let's see. Okay, I'll just go for the one that got my attention first, which is this one. I'll reduce the size and position it over here. And just move it this way so that it is linking one to the other. I'll reduce the size. Now, I'm going to duplicate this box twice. In order for me to select this to duplicate, I have to lock the background in place so it doesn't move. I'll select the background and click on this lock over here. Now I can copy all. I don't want to copy the heading, so I'll just move it up slightly, giving me a lot more space to copy my square. And then once it's all copied, I will press Command D. Bring this over here. I'll lower it slightly. And then again, I will press Command D. Lift it up like this. Now it's time to reorganize things. I just want the first and the third one to be on the same line. I'll reorganize things shortly. First, delete the arrow. This arrow over here. And then I will select this middle square and move it like that. Move it a little bit more, leaving this much space. Then I'll also select the third square, copying everything and then moving it as well. They all have the same width, which is 77. I want to make sure that the first and the third are on the same row. There. All right. Now I will bring my arrow forward. So I'll click on this arrow first, go to position, and then click on forward. That's it. And then I'll do the same for the other one. It's already on position, so I'll click on forward so we can see the arrow. I'll just reposition this so that the arrows are on the same level, if not almost the same level. Okay, that's it right there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the colors of the two squares over here. I'll select the first square and then go to the color circle. This one is going to be the light gray, D9, D9, D9. Then the third square is going to be none other than the dark gray blue, which is 242740. I know, relax, the text has disappeared. What can we do now? Okay, no need to worry at all. I'm just going to change the text color. To do that, I will lock this square in place so that I can select all the text. I selected the arrow. I don't want the arrow. I just want all the text, which means I may have to move. Oh, I did. I selected the text without the arrow. And then I'll go to the letter A and change all of that at once. Watch it change when I click on white. So that's it. Now it is legible. All right. So that's pretty much it. But we're not done yet. We need to animate. Let's do that next. Okay, now let's animate and adjust the timing. To do that, I'll first animate the image in the back. I first need to unlock it. So I'll click on this, I'll click on it and then unlock. And then I'll go into animate to select. I'm going for the old TV and I'll select both so that it's animated when it first appears on the scene and when it is moving to the next page. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm going to animate the date. I'll choose clarify for all the dates. And that's it. And then I'm going to use rise. At the moment it's drift. I'm going to use rise. You can play around, see which one suits you. Just make sure that it is simple and it doesn't conflict with trying to read your text because it should be as legible and easy to understand as possible. So I'm going to go with rise for each of them. Let's do that. Select rise, rise for this one, and rise for. Okay, this one is locked. It's time to group our text and change the timing of the elements so that they appear one after the other. To do that, I'll lock the background in place. I'll select it and then come over here to lock it in place. Then I'll come and lock the square as well because I'm going to move the text, because I'm going to group the text. So I'll select the square. So I'll select the square and then lock it in place. Then I'll select our text like that. Then I'll click on group. Once it's grouped, I can come over here and change the timing. For this one, I like where it's at in terms of the timing. It's the first one to appear. And so it's fine in terms of timing. Then I'll move to the second one. Lock the square in place. Copy the text. And then copy the text. I'll move this arrow a little bit so that I can easily copy the text over here. I'll move this one as well. And then I will copy the text like that and then group that. For this one, I'll come to I'll just move it a little bit, make sure that it's centered. And then I'll come to the elements timeline. It's selected over here and then use the arrow. Once I see the arrow, I will slide it away from the beginning because I want it to appear after the first one has appeared. So we will slide it down slightly and it will stop where we want. For now, this is what it looks like. Let's see. The first one appears and then the second one appears with the text. We'll do the same for the third. So let's finish with this one first. Okay. All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'll reposition the arrow, bring it over here, and then I will animate this arrow with the wipe animation. Click on that, come over here, click on wipe. The other arrow is also going to be the same animation. I want both arrows to be aligned as much as possible. And then I will now animate this one with the wipe as well. Click on that. Okay. Next, I'm going to do the same for the third square. First, I need to lock it in place. Copy all my text. I'll move the arrow. Copy all my text. copy all my text, and then I will group them. Now the arrow can come back to where it was before. If I move that, it can come back to where it was. I'll just position it somewhere here. Just here is fine. Okay. Now let's change the timing of this square as well. I'll click on it and then unlock so that I can come into the elements timeline and move it. It's supposed to be the last one to appear. I'll just slide it to the right so that it appears after the second one has appeared. Somewhere here should be fine. Let's watch. So you just watch and adjust as you need to. And then that one comes over it. We're pretty much done. Let's preview it and make any adjustments that might be needed. I'll just preview that page. Okay. The square appears a little bit later than the text, so I will move it. First, I'll check where the text is at. Okay, this is a text. The text appears too early, so I'll move the text back so that the square appears just before the text appears. So that's how I want it to be. And then for this one as well, the square appears just before the text appears. I'll just adjust all of this. Let's watch it again. I want to adjust this one so that it will give some time to the first one to show up before it shows up. We'll just bring it over here, and then I'll bring that square. Okay, this is still locked. See, if it's locked, you're not able to adjust it. So just keep that in mind. If you find that an element is giving you a hard time, you're not able to move anything, you may have forgotten that you have locked it up. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and unlock it. And now, see, now I can adjust it to show up just before the text shows up, but giving some time to the very first one. So let's watch. Yeah, this works better. So what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that each animation, especially with the squares, is on enter. So I'll just check that quickly. Before we do, we need to unlock, come to animate. And okay, this one is on enter. Let me check. This one is also on enter. That one is also on enter. Okay, great. Now let's watch one more time. We may need to extend the length of the page just to give it some more time to be read. I like how it's looking. I just want to extend this a little bit more. Maybe it should be about 8 seconds. Yeah, you can adjust however you like. I'll just put it at 8 seconds. This should be fine. Let's watch. I think I'm going to remove the animation on the date. So I'll come over here, click on the date, go to animate, and click remove animation. I'll come over here, remove animation. Over here, remove animation. I think it's better for the dates to be still. Yeah, just like this. Okay, that's how this should look. If you have more information to add, all you need to do is duplicate this work experience page and then change the information on there. To duplicate it, you'll come over here, click on this thumbnail that you see on the timeline over here, click on the three dots, and you will see duplicate page. That will allow you to duplicate this page and you can add in more information. All right. Just like that, we are done with the fourth page, which has work experience on there. Let's create the accomplishments page. It's time to add our fifth page. To do that, I'll click on this plus button, add a new page. Then I'll go ahead and change the background color. Click on the color circle and then come over here to the dark gray blue color, which has the hex code 242740. I'll click on that and I'll go over to the previous page, select the text, select the heading over there, which is work experience. I'll just copy that, Command C on Mac and Control C on Windows. Then I'll come over here and Command V or Control V on Windows. Now I'm going to change this to my accomplishments. Then I will change the color of the text to this gray color over here. Next, we will need 3 images and some text. Let's find our 3 images. This is the one that I'm going for. To search for it, I typed in here workspace. I'll just show you how I did that. You can type in here workspace and then search. It's showing me different photos that if it's on another option like graphics, shapes, just come over here and click photos and it will show workspace photos. I'm looking for a free image. I'll select this one for the first image. Then I'll position that to the left over here. Increase the size slightly. Elongate it a bit. And then, yeah, this is the first image. I'm looking for a second one. I think this should work. I'll just position that over here. I'm going to try to resize it so it's the same size as the first one. This should be fine. And then I'll find a third image. Let me type in here conference room. Yeah, this is a good one, but I want one that is a little brighter. I would have loved one with people in it that is also free. Okay, I'll go for this image. I'll put this one in the center and move this one over here. So we have our 3 images. Just make sure that it is the same size like that. And then I will position it in the center. Yeah. Make sure that this one is also the same size. If I put it underneath, yes, it is about the same size. Just position this over here. And now we can bring on some text. To do that, I'll click on the page and then press the letter T. That's the text right there. I'll change the font to Quicksand in the font section. Click on Quicksand and then I'll change the size to 30. Next, I'll be typing in here. First, let's align this left and then I'll type in I resolved problems, enter, effectively while managing limited resources, and saved. I think I'll enter just before saved. Saved the company, enter $50,000. This is a placeholder, by the way. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to make this a bullet point. To do that, I'll take my cursor to the beginning of the text and then select the bullet point. That's it right there. Everything is aligned. Now, all I have to do is duplicate the text and position each text box under the image, just like that. All right, let me zoom out so you can see the full page and what it looks like. Our fifth page, which is the accomplishments page, is done. Let's create the education page. Now I'm going to extend the length of this page to about, let's see how many seconds. I'll extend it to about about 10 seconds as well. To about 10 seconds. Yeah, this is fine. Now let's add our sixth page. I'll press the plus button over here and then change the background color to white. Now press T and put a heading. We can easily also do it this way. Go over to the previous page, copy accomplishments, and then bring it over here. I'll change this to education. Change the color of the text to our navy blue, dark gray blue color. Now let's add an outline. Because our page is white, we can't see the outline yet. I'll just zoom out. We can't see the outline yet, but in a bit we will because things are about to change. Next, I'm going to look for a video. I'm just going to type in here library. Let's see. This at the moment is showing photos. I'm going to click on video. Let's see. I'm looking for a free this one. It's called academic setting African American man. Okay. I'll click on it and then I will set video as the background. Now we can see the outline of the word education. Now I'm going to reduce the transparency of this video like that. It's at 20. Now I'm going to bring a square from the element section. I'll close this. Because I've already used a square, I'll find one over here in the recently used section. Now let's extend. I'm going to type out the education in this square. Just open it up slightly and then duplicate. And then duplicate. Control D, Command D. Now I need to see the full page, so I will zoom out just to make sure everything is the right size. I'm going to move this up right here. Open it up some more and then open this one up as well. Just close this up a little bit. Now I'm going to change the color of this one to white. And then I'll change this one to the dark gray blue color. This one's slightly bigger, so I will reduce the size a bit and increase the size of this one. Yeah, so play around until you find that they are even. Okay, next up, it's time to bring on some text. I'll press the letter T. Next, it's time to bring on some text. So I'll go back to the fourth page, copy the date from there, and then bring it on here. It's white, so I just need to change the color to our dark gray blue color. The font size of the date is going to be 40. Next, I'm going to add the course of study. So I'll duplicate this, select the dates, duplicate it, and I will type in here master's degree in project management. And I'll stretch it out. All caps. I'm going to left align it and then position it right under the date. I'll change the font size to 30. And then I'll duplicate that and change this bit to a few courses. Okay. Now I'll just stretch this out like that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'll lock this background in place and then I'll copy all of the text copy and paste it on here. I'll position it on the second page, change the color to white so that it is legible. And then I'm going to take the bold and I'm going to change this from bold to just normal font. So the font weight has been changed. We're almost there. I'll change this one to bachelor's degree. All caps. Now I'll reorganize things, lift it up so that it's not too spaced out. Like that. And then I'll reposition this in the center. Somewhere here is fine. I'll do the same here. I'll just move things up. Move this up a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. Then I'll lock the background. If you happen to find that your elements in the background are moving around, all you have to do is lock it like I just did. And then I'll copy this and recenter, reposition it in the center like that. Now let's animate our text. I'm going to group all of them. Since our background is locked, I can select everything and group. Do the same for the second text. I'll just group that. Next, I'll select this one and go to animate. We're going to use clarify so that it slowly gets organized on the page. looking for clarify. Oh, clarify, where are you? Okay, no. This is P text element. Yeah, I'll click on clarify and then I will go in and do the same for this one. Animate, go to element and then click clarify. Next, I'm going to remove animation that's on the square because I don't want the square. I'm just going to undo. I'm going to remove the animation on the square because I don't want that to move. So remove animation and then I'll unlock this and remove the animation as well. So only the text will move. All right, let's preview this page to see what it looks like. I'll click on this page and we can preview it. I'll just start over here to preview. Our Sith page is done. Finally, let's create the thank you page. Okay, it's time to create the last page. Let's click on the plus button. And then now I'm going to bring on an image. I'll go to the element section and type in here laptop on table. Okay, that's so not table. And I'll go to photos. I'll scroll through. This is the image I'm going for. Let's move on. Now I'm going to reduce the size of the image and make sure that it covers just the top part of the page. I'll double click to show the laptop and the little cute basket. Now I'll change the background color to this gray blue over here. The hex code is 515561. And then I'll press the letter T to bring on some text. I'll type in here, thank you, all caps, and change the size to 71. Font size will be 71. And the font is Tan Mon Chéri. So keep that in mind. Next, we're going to duplicate this and type in for your time. Thank you for your time. And we will reduce the size of this to 32. I'm going to come back to the element section and type here, scribble lines. I'll go to the graphics section and find, oh, this is what I'm going for. It's actually called modern scribble lines. So I'll bring it onto the page and position it right over here. I'll change the color to white and then I will center it. I'll click on for your time. Oh, something's wrong. I'll change the U over here to your, and then space that. I'll duplicate this and bring it over here. Type in, let's connect. I'll change the font to quicksand. Font size will be 36. And then I'll make that bold. Let's center that. I'll duplicate this, bring it over here and type in phone number. I'll add a phone number placeholder. Just change this to capital O. And then I'll type in here 055 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. That's the number there. Then I'll duplicate this, move it over here, and type in email. Email. I'll type in here, I'll take the full stop off, and then I'll type in here Sandra at gmail.com. We've got our address. And for the bottom of the page, I'm going to add a physical address. So I'll move over here and then I'll type in here address. I'll duplicate this and then I'll type in here residence hyphen space residence space hyphen city space hyphen state space hyphen country. Now I'm going to center this bit over here right under address, leave some space, and then I'll create some space over here just before country. Now I'm going to reduce the size of this to 29. Reduce this as well to 29 so that I can make some room for the rest. Move this up, move this as well. Then I'll move this up as well. The last thing I'm going to do is I'll animate the page. So I'll click on animate and then I will select fun. And yes, that's how our video CV is going to end. We'll watch all of it in a bit, but let me just adjust a few things before we do that. I'll come on here and then I'll select this bit and I will recenter it like that. Yeah. This is where I'd like to leave it. I think I want to leave some more space between. Yeah, this is it. Now that we're done creating our video CV, we're going to delete the very first page, which is this guide over here. To select it, I'm just going to click on here and then show you how to select that. Go over here and click on it. Once it has this purple outline, you know it's selected. Then click on the three dots and select delete page. Gone. Next, let's add some music because what is a video CV without music or your voice? Let's go for some music. I'm going to go to the element section, click on that, and then come to audio. You can select music from Magic Recommendations. Click on See All to see what kind of music they have. You can listen to a preview by clicking on this play button over here on this icon so that you can listen and have a feel of the kind of music that will work with the slow pace of the video. As you're selecting the music, just think of the pace of the video and match the music to the pace. I have downloaded a song from YouTube just to make sure I'm staying compliant. So I'm going to get that song and add it to the CV. Click on uploads, come over here to audio, and then bring on my song. Hold on a second. I will first move my playhead to the beginning. Now I'm going to select my song and throw it onto the first slide. It will fill up the space just like this. So it ends exactly where the video ends. Next, we don't want the song to end abruptly. So we're going to click on these three dots over here and select fade. I'm going to make it fade out by typing in here 3 and then enter. So at the end of the song, it will fade out. One other tip I'm going to give you is to make sure you lengthen the particular slide to match the amount of time that is needed. So, for instance, this page can be lengthened to make sure that you give enough time to your reader to read the entire thing. So I could just stretch it out slightly, maybe to about 10 seconds, depending on the amount of information you've put on. Make sure you watch it and give yourself time to try to read it and lengthen the video accordingly. It doesn't have to be too long because the viewer can also pause to read the information. But yeah, just make sure that you've given enough time for the viewer to read the information. Alrighty then. We're wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching the entire. If you've watched the entire series, let me know in the comment section. Say, I watched them all. Remember to give your video CV a name. I'm going to call mine my video CV. Nothing special. Okay, now it's time for us to preview the entire video CV. Ready? Let's do this. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested in seeing other types of tutorials, go on into the comment section and let me know. And I'll come back with a tutorial or I'll point you in the right direction. Thank you for watching. And you know what we do? We practice what we learn. So, you've learned how to create different video CV layouts. You've practiced element and font animation. And you've also learned to use frames, images, and shapes. Now go on and get creative.